Welcome back to the Exchange Trader channel, and before we move on to this episode, I would like to say a big thank you to all the subscribers that are coming on board. At the time of this episode we have 66 subscribers, and it's just overwhelming the fact that people want to watch the videos, want to find out how to do the exchange trading. So once again, thanks very much, and hopefully we'll get a few more as well. So what we can expect in this episode. Now, the first race is quite a tight little handicap. We've got a one at 7.6, 9.2, 7.8, 8.4. The favourite is quite short at round about 6 to 4, and Musical Taste is at 15.5. And this one on the outside is trading currently between 60 and 65. Now, I've looked at the form of this horse, and in my opinion, the form just isn't good enough to win the race. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, that it won't win the race. Outsiders do frequently come good, and this may well be one that could go beyond what I think it can perform on the day. Now, the reason for that is it doesn't have any form in handicap company, and that's what we're looking at when we go towards trading on a race. Also, the second part that I will look at is the price of the bookmakers on the Racing Post, and the price currently is between 50 and 66, so you're not actually getting much difference on the exchanges. And you can see the price on the graph has gone from 50 to 110, so I am expecting the price to go out a little bit to start with. Now, would I trade the horse if it went to 150? Now, I don't think I would, because my operation is based on form in handicaps, and if you look at this horse, like we said before, then the form is just not there. And it would not surprise me if this horse went to 150, even 200, and I've seen them go higher. They can go from 65, they can even go out to 250, 300. So we are playing with a little bit of fire, and if you were trading it, you wouldn't be confident that the horse was going to run any sort of race. It is a small field, but it is drawn 8. So the first thing to realise when you're looking at outsiders is, does the form stand up? Is it good enough to win in handicap company? And in this case, I'm going to leave this alone, and it will be interesting to see what price this goes to before the off. My guess is that it will go above 100. Now, not always accurate, but it could go to 150, it could even go to 200. So I'm going to leave that one alone. And we're going to look at the second race, which is a little bit more open in terms of outsiders. Now again, we look at the race, we've got a strong favourite in Go George Go, which has got very strong form, and if anybody wanted to back that, I certainly wouldn't put them off doing so. It is a strong favourite, and it is probably the most likely winner, but at the odds, we're certainly not going to trade it. Medicine Hat again is quite a well fancied horse, as is Teopix. So these three are too short certainly to trade. Now the next two are Magistral and Thornton Kerr. Now these are quite low in the betting for horses that have not run for over a year. And in my field of operation, I certainly don't want to be trading horses whose fitness I can't rely on. So these horses may well be fit, they may run a good race, but at 17 and 19 respectively, again, I'm going to leave them out of the exchange trade process. Now, if they were 50 or 60, would I trade them? Again, the answer would be no, because I just don't trade horses that haven't run for a long time. So we're ruling out these 5 straight away. Highwayman, we're moving on to this one, and this one is drawn on the inside, and the reason I'm leaving this one out is because of the distance factor. Now, if you look at the form of Highwayman, its races more or less have been over shorter distances, ranging from 7 furlongs at Southwell up to 10 furlongs, and in the 10 furlong races it's run no sort of race. They were in maiden races and claiming races, so again that one would be out because it's not got the handicap form that I'm looking for. So even if that goes to 100, 150, I'm not really interested in trading. Now that leaves us with these 3, the Card High, Maulsden May and Woodacre. Let's deal with the top weight Card High first. Now Card High is dropped in class. Last time out it ran over these conditions, and it finished tailed off, beating 90 lengths. So why am I looking at this one for a tradable option? The reason is because although it hasn't run for a couple of months, that's well within my boundaries for looking at horses. It is the class horse in the race. There's no doubt about that. And if you look at its form, it's got some decent form in higher class, in class 4 races. And that last time out run was probably just a one-off. You're not going to get beat 90 lengths for no reason. It may well be that the horse pulled a muscle or had something wrong with it on that day. But before then, it was quite a consistent horse. Now, would I trade at 32? Probably not. If you look at the graph on the right, it's gone up as high as 50. So I would want it to be going back up towards that kind of mark. So this one, I'm willing to trade, but only at a higher price. I'm only going to get involved if it goes up towards the 50 mark, because I'm going to ignore the last run. And I'm going to take the form from the previous runs where it has run well in handicap company and has run well at a higher grade. So that's card high sorted out. Now let's have a look at the second horse, Molesden May. And this one is one of the bottom weights, it's number 8, and I've just moved it over here. So why am I considering trading on Molesden May? What kind of price do I want for this one? Well, it's certainly been beaten heavily in recent times. It got well beaten by the favourite Go George Go. But if you go back to November, it actually finished second in a very similar class, and it was only beaten 3 parts of a length over the distance and the course. And it could well come back to that. These lower class races often throw up surprise winners, but if you go back far enough in the form, and we're only going back 8 weeks, this one has run well in this particular grade and over this course and distance. So I'm not going to rule this one out. If we look at the graph, that's gone from 15 up to 38. So again, it's nearing the top of its mark. And again, I would want the price to move out slightly. I'm not going to get involved with trading until it gets to around about 42. And you can see I've put the marker in there, the alert price in there at 42. And you'll also notice that some of the ones that I've put in before, the alert prices have also been taken. And particularly card high at 40. And Woodacre and Molesden May. So we do put target prices in for all the runners, not just the outsiders, even the favourites, just in case they do drift to a price there, what I'm looking for. So that's the first two. We're going to be putting in the target price for card high at 48, Molesden May in at 42. Now Woodacre, let's have a look at Woodacre and see what we think about that one. So this time we're looking at a horse which is aging quite a bit, but its last 2 races have been over this course and distance, and it's finished beaten 2.5 lengths and 5 lengths. And again, that was another one that was beaten by Go George Go last time out. So why could it reverse the form? Well, a couple of reasons for that. Go George Go might have an off day. He might have been racing quite a lot recently, so it might be tired. Woodacre might improve slightly. They might ride it differently. They might ride it from the front. They might ride it from the middle or the back. So although it's coming up against a horse that's beaten it by 5 lengths, things could be different this time around. And again, we're looking at this as a tradable option. Now, what kind of price are we looking at? Look at the graph over on the right hand side, and this one is traded from 10 to 34. So we are quite a high price, and this one now just being nibbled at 28. And if we go up, we've not put the extra target one in because we've already got the price matched at 31. So I'm going to put that in at 34. The target price is going in at 34 because that's near the high that it's been already. You can see that is in fact the high at 34. So this one, distance is a problem. These two haven't run for a while. These 3 are quite short prices. So I'm not going to trade on these, I'm not going to trade on these, and I'm not going to trade on that. These 3 are tradable options, but only if they go to the right price. And if we go back to this first race, remember, these are too short to trade, at least with level 2 staking. I might do it if I had a little bit more money. Maybe in level 4 or 5 we'll look at trading the more fancied runners. This one certainly is too short, and Musical Taste is also, although it's going out, we are doing a video on Outsiders. So this one again could come into our operations in the 350, the Musical Taste. And if you go back in its form a few races ago, then it certainly does have the form to get involved in the race. Not necessarily win it, but certainly run a decent race. But it's too short for us to be trading on level 2 stakes. So we're going to watch this one, and I'm going to predict that this horse is going to trade over 100 certainly, and it could even, like we said, get to 150 and higher. So that's the position on this race. We're not going to trade on the 350. On the 425, the Newcastle, we have got options, and you can see Woodacre has been backed in already. So it has been as high as 34, and now it's sharply declined to round about 22. And we've got these other two that are nearing our target position. So this one might come back up, but it's looking more likely that these two are going to be the trading proposition. So that's an analysis of the racing for today. Now, we may not get involved in that, but that's just providing the prices stay low, we won't get involved. But if they do go a little bit higher, then we are going to be trading on the race. So that's how I look at these two races in particular, the 350 at Kempton and the 425 at Newcastle. And we're going to follow this through to see, first of all, what price this goes to, whether Woodacre can go back up to the mark we want, and whether these two become tradable options. So we'll come back when things start happening a little bit later on. We've got a position developing now with Molesden May. Now the price is going close to the target mark of 42, so I'm going to take that out, but we do know that the target is 42 because it's on level with these. And now, why am I not taking the price just yet? Well, let's examine the position. We've got a little bit of money on this side, and if we scroll up, we've got absolutely nothing behind the 44. So if the 44 gets taken, there's nothing to suggest that this is going to stop before it hits 50. So we're going to adjust our target position. We're not going to put anything in just yet. We're just going to watch it and see if we can get a higher price to start with. And that's probably the most important thing when you're trading, to get the right price to start with. If you're going too early, you're going to get into trouble. And in this type of position, the odds are suggesting that it's going to go higher. So don't just take the money because it's at your target. Look at the situation, look at the prices, look at the state of the market, and see and make a judgment yourself on whether the price is going to go higher. It may go higher, it may go back down if somebody feels 40 is high enough. But for now, at this present time, making the decision, the price is going to go higher. Things might change, and we'll have a look at that if they do. And you can see that 44 now more or less gone. So we're going to see if the price comes up. And we've got, like we said before, somebody thinking that 42 is a little bit too high. Now, again, I'm not moving in. The price is steady at 40, 42. Very little money involved there. And you'll notice that the time of the race is 4:25. We are actually only at 7 minutes past 3. So there's plenty of time for the price to move upwards. And you can see the price has been taken at our target position of round about 40. And things are a little bit different now because we've got space here. But we still don't have any confidence behind this position at 42. So let's just leave that in and see how things develop. And you can see that's been removed, so the price may well go back up. And we'll put that in, and we'll have another look at it when it does. Let's have a look at the first race. So the first race, I Can't Stop, is still 45 minutes away, but you can see the price now beginning to drift out. And that's because we looked at the form of the horse and it just didn't register as having a chance in the race. And like I said before, I'm not going to put people off. If they want to bet on these type of horses, that's fine. It just doesn't come under my exchange trading technique, or, if one for a better word, system. So we're looking at 100, close to 100 now, and like we said, they may well go a little bit higher. You can see the price has jumped up to 110. So we had 5 on the market at 110. That was taken very quickly, but it did actually go above 100. It went up to 110, so there's no reason why it can't go back up. Let's have another look at Marsden May. That's now at 38, and as before, we've got nothing on this side that suggests that the price is going to get taken pretty smartly. So again, that's just a wait and see situation. Price now for Moles de May is 34. Should we change our opinion of the race and the price and the situation? Absolutely not. Just because the price is seemingly disappeared here, only for small amounts, doesn't change the situation that we want a bigger price than 34. So don't get tempted into just pushing down with the market. Wait for your price, wait for your decision. And our decision is 44, 46, 48 now, because the graph over here has gone to 44. So there's no reason why it can't go back up there. And you can see the price at 34 now just gaining a little bit of momentum, not much but a little bit, and these prices can soon disappear. So there's every chance that the price will go back up to what we wanted it to do. And if it doesn't, simple answer is don't play. So it's now 3:20, and look at the price on I Can't Stop, gone up to 110, and it may well trade between these areas now, and it wouldn't surprise me, like we said at the start of the video, if the price went to 150 and beyond. But it's certainly gone over 100, it's gone up to 110. Movement on Moles de May, gone back up to 40. This little bit of opposition has gone, so we're back in the same position where we were before, just waiting having that bit of patience to wait for the price to recover, and we're now back in the position where we're watching the market intently and seeing if we can get to the price that we want. Card high still has this here. If that gets removed, there's nothing beyond that up to 50. So starting level 2, remember the staking system is 5, 10 on the first bet, but only if you're confident that you've got a very high price. So you can be a little bit more cautious and just put the £5 stake on, or if you want to be a bit more bold and you think you've got an extraordinary price, put the 10 on. But that means that we're only trying to win, remember level 2 staking, we're only trying to win £5 on the day. And that will tell you, the first stake will tell you what your intended profit is for that particular trading day. So that's the plan of action, £5 stakes, £10 on the first one if you're confident, otherwise keep to the £5 stakes. And if we do get matched at 46, then we'll put that back in at 36 on the first few trades. The subsequent trades after that, we will be just putting it a couple of ticks lower, so we get quite a few trades instead of waiting for the big one. Okay, let's have an update on how things are going. First of all, the time is 3:38, 12 minutes off the start of the first race. This is now still 100, 110. The last 5 minutes is going to be crucial with that one if it's going to get to 150, 200. But it has already gone past the 100 mark, which we suggested. Now this race here, card high, is still hovering around about 38.40. There's no money for that in the market yet. That will obviously change. We've taken the price at 46, the price drifted back up to 46, and we put another £5 in at 48 to get our opening £10 stake. And you'll notice I didn't put the £5 in at 42, because it was our opening stake. I've put the price back in at 36, and if this gets taken, that's going to go in at 38. And then the subsequent ones, 50, 55, are going to be the 2 ticks. And you'll also notice the price on Woodacre has now drifted back up. So it went up to 34, as you can see from the graph, went back down to around about 22, and now it's gone back up to 30. So we didn't follow the market down on that one, we didn't follow the market down on that one, and the prices are now drifting back to, certainly in this case, drifting back to the price that we're looking at. Now we're not going to trade on Woodacre or card high as long as we've got trades on this horse. You don't want to tie up too much money with card high and Woodacre. Just take one at a time as you go along, and that's for a number of reasons. First of all, your bank doesn't allow that, and secondly, if your internet loses connection,
fully matched,
you've got a lot in the market at once, and that has happened in the past where the internet connection is lost and you're stuck with quite a lot of money in the race. Fortunately, things worked out, it came back on, but that can happen. So we've got the next one taken at 48, and I'm going to put that £5 in at 38, and then we're going to trade a little bit higher. And you can see this just building momentum. There's not much on this right hand side, but I think the price is getting to a point now where it's getting high enough. And you can see the average odds is 47, and our liability on the race, even though we've put £10 in, is currently 58 pence. So we're not putting £10 at risk. All we're doing at the moment is putting 58 pence at risk, so there is no real problem. So let's put the £5 in at 50, and you can see I'm not going to put it in at 55.60 just in case there is a big jump in the price, and we can cover that a little bit later on. Now you'll also notice, if you've been trading, that some of these prices just flash on and off. For example, this one at 40 has been flashing on and off. Now that's not somebody just putting the money in and then taking it out straight away. That is actually a program doing that, so don't worry about that. Don't be thinking that somebody's just playing around with the market. It's actually a program that's doing the flashing. It's stopped now, but you'll see that from time to time in races where the price goes in and then it gets taken off, then it comes back, and then it gets taken off again, and that goes on for a few minutes or so. So we are in a position now looking at this race. I Can't Stop is just getting a little bit of money at 90.95. The last 5 minutes, like we said, is the crucial point for getting this a lot higher, but we've already traded. We haven't traded, but the traders have already accepted that it's going to go higher. In fact, it has gone higher. It's gone up to 130, so very close to what we said would happen. In fact, it has gone over 100, and it's gone very close to 150. So back to the race that we're more interested in, the 425. Still some time off, about 43 minutes to post time. Woodacre beginning to drift back out again, and also Card High beginning to drift out as well. Remember, we are tempted to trade on this at 48, but we're not going to do so as long as we've got money on Moulsden May. Sometimes you will miss out on these horses. They'll go up to the price you want and then come back down. Sometimes they'll just burst through what you want, and by the time you've traded these, or the ones that you're interested in, you've got a much higher price for the other intended targets in the race. So the first race is off the Kempton Park, and in fact I Can't Stop did come down quite sharply towards the finish of the trading towards the start of the race. Now let's just have a look, see what happens with it. There has been a non-runner in the race. We're not expecting it to do anything. It's going out to 70, 80. We don't remember, in the past they have traded well above 200 and come back to win in running. So we've still got half the race left. We're not trading on it, so it doesn't really matter. It did go over 100, went up to 130. We didn't even trade at 130 because we had no confidence in the horse whatsoever. Going out to 700. And now it's reached 1,000, so it didn't really do much in the race, but it's not one to get involved on. If they don't have form, handicap form, then you are better off leaving them alone. Now let's go back to the race, the 425 at Newcastle. So I'm going to get rid of this one at the top. Let's put that out the way, and let's move this one up into focus. So we've got the position where we've traded on Moulsden May at 46.48. We've got the two in here at 36.38. Now if it does get closer to the race time and we've still not got those taken, we probably will be moving those up, but we're going to leave them there for the next 20 minutes or so anyway. We've got Woodacre trading a little bit higher. I'll just get rid of this market navigator, then we can see what we're doing over here. So card height is trading at 36. This one is at 4. The bet side is at 40. Woodacre is up to 32, but for very limited money. And we're still waiting for the play on Molesden Mare to the market decide what it wants to do. So that's the state for the 425 at Newcastle. And I'm going to take these out because we know when it's going to reach that kind of mark, and in any case we're still waiting for this to develop. So we can keep an eye on Woodacre. It's gone past the 34. We're not going to play for the reasons suggested earlier, and this one also we're not going to play for the reasons suggested earlier as well. Now, one of the more interesting decisions you're going to be making of your trading career is, do we leave these in, or do we push them up to get them traded off and hopefully make a few more trades? And there's no real easy answer to that. Sometimes you'll get it right, sometimes you won't get it right. You can push one of them up to 44 if you want and trade like that. The option really is up to you. So I prefer to leave them in up to about 15 minutes before the race, and then if they're still not taken, then we can push them up a little bit and get them taken a bit quicker and trade again doing the scalping technique. But we've still got just over 25 minutes left towards the race, so there's plenty of time for the market to come down and take these lay bets at 38 and 36. And we're only leaving this gap on our first £10 stakes. Don't forget, we're not leaving it on everything, we're just leaving it on the first £10. So if it does come down, we've got quite a chunk of money, and we can possibly get very close to winning our stake just through that one £10 or two separate £5 trades in this case. And we're getting the 50 bet just being eaten into, so once that's taken we can put it in at 46, still leaving these in the market until we, or if we do, get up to our target stake. And there is going to be a little bit more build up as we get closer to race time. Obviously more money is going to come in, so we'll get a bit of picture of how we think the market is going to react, and you'll have to make decisions yourself based on what you see in front of you. So in the market at the moment we've got £13.21 invested, but if you look at the top, the hedge is now in profit. So our liability on the race £13.21, but our actual cash out liability is in profit. So we're not actually putting this much at risk unless you get a bad connection on your internet and it goes off. So don't worry about the fact that you've got this outstanding. This is the figure that you want to worry about, the hedge part. So if you have got that in the green, then there's no need to worry. If it goes high into the red, then maybe you're doing something a little bit wrong on your trade-ins. So let's watch, see if we can get down to 38 and 36. And remember, our average price for the horse was 47.8, and we are below that now at 46, and that's why the hedge is in the green, or in a positive state. Now another thing to remember about hedging is that you must hedge all of your stake. I know we've had a comment in the section, and thanks very much for getting in touch and putting in those comments. You don't want to be leaving any of your stake in the market, so make sure you're hedging out, and check with your profit and loss situation here that you've actually hedged out all that you can, and you're not leaving any of the red going into the race, because in the race anything can happen. It might get a bad start, and then you're struggling if the price goes out and you're going to be losing. So just make sure that you are hedging in the green, or if you want to take a small loss, if you think things are going wrong, take a small loss in the red, but certainly don't leave any of your stake in with the big losses on the other horses. So moving down to 42. Again, the hedging price has come in now at £1.73, so we're well in our trading range at 42. So there's no real problem with trading out at this stage. We can wait a little bit further, see if these can get taken. But there is some opposition coming in here. Now if these do get taken, then we can hedge out the market and then try and do a few more trades. And we could do that at 42 if we wanted to. So we're 16.07 is the time now. So we are 18 minutes away. So we're getting to that position now where these may well get moved up to take advantage of that money at 44, and then hopefully can get a few more trades in before the race starts. But we've still got about 8 minutes before we get into that position, or at least 3 or 4 minutes before we get into that position. So that first one has been taken, 38. We've got a hedge point of £2.68. We can afford to wait a little bit longer, see if this one can get taken as well, and then we'll have some decisions to make whether we cash out fully before the race or put some of it in running to win a little bit more. And we've now had that bet taken at 36, so we are in a good position now. We've got £3.21 still outstanding, so don't forget that some of that was taken up here, so we've still got something outstanding. Just because they got taken, don't forget to hedge what was taken here on the partial match, and you can put that in whenever you like now. So 38 would be a good point, 36, or you could edge out now and win at least a portion of your target money for the day on the one race. Don't forget, we can play on 2 or 3 races, so this is a good start if you're playing on level 2. If you get a profit of over 60% of your money on one race, then it's probably best to take it and move on to the next race and just try and do the same on the next race. So don't get greedy, just take the money as it comes, and if you do get a chance to trade after you've made your target money, then all the better, and you've got that as an extra bonus in the race. So £3.15, £3.48. Let's just get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. This is a position we're at. And we can trade. Let's just put the £3 in at 38.
Fully matched.
And that's taken, so you see we've now got 21 outstanding. You can leave that in, or you can actually put that in by, if you want to tidy things up, if you don't like the red. I hate looking at red, no matter how much it is. It's a bit of an OCD thing with me. But if you want to get rid of that, just put in the stake that you want. Let's put that in. I know we're only tidying up.
Fully matched.
That's taken, and we've got 1 pence outstanding. I still hate the red, so I'm gonna get rid of it. I know it seems a little bit absurd, but so there we go. There's the penny in. That'll get rid of the red, and then we can decide what we want to do.
Matched.
So we've got no red at all. That's a note. So that's a note. That's a note. That's fine. And we are going to hedge out of the market, and at the present time it's on £3.48. That's a good starting point, I think, for this first race. And then, like we say, we'll make up the deficit on the trading in another race. So let's just see if it goes to 38. And it's gone down a little bit more, gone down to 34. 32 would be nice, maybe £4. 34 is the state, £4. Let's take
Fully
the £4.
matched.
We'll not be greedy. We'll take the £4. So that's it. We're out of the trading. We've more or less made our profit on the race. This is level stake. Level 2 staking. So you've got £5 stakes, and your target for the day is £5. So on this first race, don't forget we've got a few more races that you can play in if you want to, or you can leave it at that for the day. It's a good start to level 2. We've learnt quite a few things today on this extended video. We're probably going to make more extended videos in level 2. So the first race we looked at one, we suggested the price would go from 60 over 100 close to 150. That's what it did. It went out to 130. And on the second race we decided that we're not going to play on Thornton Kerr because it hadn't run for quite some time, and you see the price drifting right out on that. And Highwayman, that one was also given a miss because of the distance question, and Magistral was also another one that hadn't run for a long time. So just pointers to look at when you're analysing a race, and we decided that these three had the form to be competitive. Woodacre went down, it did go back up to 38, but we were playing on Molesden May at the time, and Card High didn't really go to the price that we wanted, and now Molesden May is going back out to 46.44. So this one is again a tradable proposition because we've got the £4 stake up here. So even if we put the £4 in, we're not going to lose on the race, and we could bolster our trading by doing it. So you see, if I put the £4 in at 50, for example, and if that gets taken, I can put the £4 back in at 46, and we'll have an extra £16 running
fully matched,
and that's what's done. So this has now traded at 50, and you can see the price gone up to 55, and there's a little bit of opposition for it at 48. The price might come back down, but we've got the in running of now 190, and we've still not lost anything. We're not going to lose anything on the race, so it's just a question of whether we can improve the situation by trading again on Molesden May. And that was traded at 50, and now it's going up to 55, maybe even go up to 60 because we're getting late in the day. We are 6 minutes away from post time, and you can see the price now going right up to beyond 55, up to 60, coming back down to 50. We're not under any pressure, we're not losing anything. Let's just stick that in at 46, see if that gets taken. I do want to hedge the market again if things don't go our way, but this is just a way of adding a little bit more value to your overall trading. And as has happened in the past, you know that
I'm out of here, man.
We can actually win on these big priced runners. So a little bit of opposition coming in at 55 now, 50. Still got 19, 48, 22. Remember, we took the money at 50. We can always trade back out at 50 if we want. Just come back down. Market's starting to fluctuate quite rapidly now.
fully
and
matched.
It's been taken. So we've just done that to add a little bit more to the bet on Molesden May. And the hedging has gone up to £4.44, and the price for winning on this horse is £19.36. So what do we do now? We wait, see if we can trade a little bit lower. So there was no risk in that trade whatsoever, in fact, apart from the fact that you wouldn't have won on the hedging if it didn't run a decent race. So we can now sit back, relax. We're inside the final 5 minutes. I don't like trading then, so let's just wait and see what happens. If we can cash out for the full £5 before the race, we may well do that. So what we've decided to do is to try and win tomorrow's profit as well. We're going to put it in running at 3. You can see we don't, if I just get rid of that, I'm going to right click and cancel all bets. You can see we're not going to lose on the race. So we've hedged out the market, we've fully hedged out the market, we've got nothing left in, we've not got any red, and we're going to make a profit whatever happens. So what we can do to just improve the situation, we can either leave it in, see if it wins, or we can trade in running at 3. So I'm going to put the 4 in at 3 and then right click in play keep. And if that does happen to win, we will still win £11.76. If it gets to 3, we'll win nearly £8, which will be our target profit for tomorrow as well. And if it doesn't get there, we've still won, or more or less won, the target for today, and we can go to a next race and see if we can trade a bit more on the next race. So that's it. We're going to leave it there for this race. We'll watch the race, obviously, see what happens. We're about 2 minutes away from post time, and you'll notice we haven't traded on Woodacre and we haven't traded on Card High. So we just went for the one because that was the right price. That was the one we wanted to trade on. And the price has now come in to 28.29, which it can do in the last 5 minutes. So you're going to get sharp drifts in the market, or you're going to get horses backed in. There's no real way of knowing, unless you are the one putting the money on, which way that will go. In this occasion, the price has come in to 28. So we could actually hedge out the market and win £4.65. But we're going to leave that in. We've done alright on the race, and it'll give us a little bit more interest just watching and see if the race unfolds and Molesden May can get down to the trading price in running of 3. And there has been a little money late on again for Thornton Kerr. I've been off the track for a long time. Magistral also attracted a little bit money late on, and Highwayman attracted a little bit money late on. So if you're trading on these, then you've done alright, but there's no guarantee with these that you're going to get that move inwards, especially horses that haven't run for a long time. If they win, they win, but we've still won on the race, and we haven't really took many chances. The favourite has actually gone in the opposite direction. It was a short price. I know it's got good form, but it was a very short price at 6-4, especially when you've got opposition from Medicine Hat, Tail Picks. These are pretty much steady during the day. So that's about all the trading on the horses. If I just run across, you can see the graphs as I run across and make your own mind up. And Medicine Hat and finally Go George Go the favourite. So it has been quite an extended video, 40 minutes, 41 minutes. You can skip part of it obviously if you don't want to watch the whole video, but we are going to make certainly 25-30 minute videos for level 2. And that's mainly because we're analysing the runners in the race a little bit more than we did in level 1. You see the price on Molesden May has gone out just as fast as it came in. It's gone up to 40, 42, 44. So there is no way of knowing late on which way that market is going to turn. So that's it. Race is off. We're down to the last couple of minutes of this video. 1 mile 4 furlongs, handicap Newcastle. Molesden May has already gone out to 200 to 1, so it must have got a dreadful start. But it doesn't matter because we have already won on the race. It's coming in 32. The possibilities that we're going from 200 to 3 in running are remote, but I have seen it happen. And it's coming now to 22. So unless it's a non-runner, that was a pretty big price. 21. And I have seen people trade in running on these horses even when they've been a non-runner, so hopefully it isn't a non-runner and it has actually taken off. People still trading on it, but that might be blind trading because they're not watching the race. So let's have a look at the other two. Woodacre 16.5, Card High 85, Mordelson May 32, and it's not moving that much, so I'm not convinced it's actually running. Stuck at 34. So we're past halfway. We're inside the final 6 furlongs now. Still trading on it, 22, 29. Card High going right out, that one's not going to win. Woodacre has come into 5. This one's still not a lot of trading on it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was a non-runner. Tail Picks has won the race. And that has not jumped. I don't think that's jumped. So that is extremely disappointing, and that's just one thing that you're going to have to get used to. If that is a non-runner, then all these bets will be wiped out, and that trading that you've done today will go. So hopefully we'll find out what happens with that. If it was a non-runner, then that's just something you're going to have to get used to. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. The pricing was right, we did the right trades, and it does look like it's been withdrawn from the race. Thanks for watching, see you next time. Okay, there's the update on the 425 at Newcastle, and this is something that you're going to have to get used to if you're an exchange trader. And there is absolutely nothing worse, in my opinion, than the outcome of the 425 at Newcastle. We traded on the race, we've got in a good position, we're going to make a profit whatever the result. We even had a chance of winning if the horse won, and the horse was a non-runner. So all the trades that you've made on Moleston Way will be taken away, and you will make precisely nothing on the race. So that's disappointing. Up to that point it was looking like a decent trading video, but the principles are still the same. That's how you would trade on the outsiders. Unfortunately in this case it's all come to nothing because the horse would not go into the stall. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Sorry if I've wasted your time in doing the video, but it is a good lesson and something that will happen to you in the future whether you like it or not. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I've not put you off too much, and you'll join us for the second episode of Level 2 Betting.